Week 7 of the fantasy basketball season. And if you want to go out there and target a few forwards, here's a few forwards I would target and try to buy low this week. The first guy is Aaron Gordon of the Orlando Magic. I know Gordon's hurt. He's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks with the ankle injury. A bad ankle sprain on his left ankle. The injury is here for Gordon. But Gordon on the season, I think he was pretty solid. 13.8 points a game, 7.2 rebounds, 4.2 assists, 1.6 threes a game, 61% from the line, which isn't good, and 42% from the field. But we know Gordon, this guy was a highly touted prospect coming out of college here, going into the NBA, and he's been improving on his three-point shot this season. But now he's going to miss 4 to 6 weeks, so worst case scenario, he'll be out to week 13 or week 14, and you'll get him back just in time for the stretch run before it's playoff time in fantasy basketball. And right now, his value's at its lowest. The Magic, they're definitely missing him. And I think Gordon, you could get him for a minimum player at this point, especially this early on in the injury timetable for him, with him just going down early last week, Gordon. So right now, if the Gordon owner is looking to trade him, or if he got dropped in your fantasy league, you go out there and stash him, because I still think he has upside, and he's a player that definitely could help fantasy teams, and a guy I would want on my roster, especially on the cheap, right here. The next forward I look to try to trade for is Blake Griffin of the Detroit Pistons. I know Blake Griffin, he's been a horrible show this season in fantasy basketball, and for the Pistons, after he's making huge money the next few years and he's not producing the way he should on the season. He's ranked 211 is Griffin, 12.4 points a game, 5.6 rebounds, 3.9 assists, 2.1 threes a game, 70% from the foul line, and a terrible 37% from the field for Griffin. So Griffin, he just couldn't put anything together so far this season. And the last few games, it shows that. January 30th at Golden State, 5 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and he only hit a 3, 12% from the field. And then versus Utah last night, it wasn't really any better for Griffin out there in Utah. 11 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, the steal, 30% from the field, and he added a 3. So Griffin, his percentage has gone down the last few weeks. He's only 74% owned universally in fantasy leagues, and his percentage has dropped 3%. So a guy like Griffin, I think he still has some upside. I think he could still get things going here for fantasy owners and the Pistons. And he's actually improved his three-point shot a lot this season, is Griffin. So if Griffin's out there on the trade block or your waiver wire, he's another guy like Gordon where you're not going to have to give up much for him. And you could get him on the low and the cheap. And right now, I think that's a move I would go out there and try to do. The next forward I would try to buy low and trade for this week's Kelly Oubre of the Golden State Warriors. Oubre this season, he's had a lot of struggles as well, just like Blake Griffin. On the season, he's shooting 37% from the field, 73% from the foul line, 12 points a game, 5.4 rebounds, 1.3 assists, 1.1 steals, and he's ranked 188 on the season. And the last few weeks, he's ranked 219 with 12 points a game once again, 5.4 rebounds, which is weird. His stats are pretty similar. 2 assists a game, a steal, 1.1 threes, 39% from the field, and 67% from the foul line. But the last couple games now, he's starting to get things going, is Oubre. Versus Detroit on January 30th, 18 points, 6 rebounds, and assist and a block, where he shot 57% from the field. And then versus Boston last night, another decent game, 12 points, 1 rebound, 2 assists, 45% from the field. So Oubre, maybe he's starting to get things going with his new team in Golden State, even though there's been trade rumors where the Pelicans are interested in trying to acquire Oubre. So we'll see what happens with that. But this year, his numbers are obviously down. Last year, he averaged 18 points a game, and this year, he's only at 12 points a game. And right now, in that Golden State offense, he's the third or fourth option behind Steph Curry, obviously, and then Andrew Wiggins. And then it's either going to be Oubre or Wiseman, even though Wiseman, he's out right now. And Draymond Green, he's not really bringing value to fantasy owners. But anyway, Kelly Oubre, I think he could be had on the cheap and a definite buy low candidate, even though the last few games now, he's starting to pick things up and shoot the basketball better from the field. But if Oubre's out there in your league and you don't got to give up much to get him, this is a perfect buy low situation here for Oubre. The next forward I'd look to buy low is Brandon Ingram of the New Orleans Pelicans. I know Ingram, he's been great this season, but some owners, they might be frustrated that he's had a couple dud games here and there in Ingram. On the season, he's ranked number 45, 23 points a game, 5.3 rebounds, 4.6 assists, 2.3 threes a game, 84% from the foul line, and 46% from the field is Ingram. So Ingram, he's had some big games this season, but the last couple weeks, it seems like he's only had a couple 30-point games here and there, and he's only putting up about 17 to 23 points a game, which is still pretty good, but his field goal percentage, it's been pretty bad the last two games, 33% and 30%. So Ingram owners, they might not be happy with the production he's putting up all the way, where they drafted him second or third round, and right now he's having some pedestrian games, especially in the last two versus Houston on January 30th, 15 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 blocks, and 2 threes, 33% from the field. And then versus Sacramento 2 nights ago, only 20 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, and a block, 1 3, and he shot only 30% from the field. So Ingram, he's a great ball player. He's just in a shooting slump right now. But some owners, they might be down in the standings and looking to get rid of him right now. And this is the time where you try to get him on a little bit of the cheap or the down low type of deal for Ingram. So go out there and get Ingram. And the fifth and final forward you could buy low this week is DeAndre Hunter of the Atlanta Hawks. Hunter, he's banged up now with an injury, and he might miss a few more nights here. Is DeAndre Hunter with a little wear and tear in his right knee, and he was going to be out a week is the initial diagnosis for Hunter. And Hunter's having a great season, 17.2 points a game, 5.4 rebounds, 2.2 assists, 1.7 threes, 87% from the foul line, and 51% from the field. So Hunter, he's put up big numbers. We've seen him score 30 points or more a few times this season. And right now with this little bit of an injury, if a manager, he's in a bad place in the standings and he needs a win this week or whatever the deal is, this is definitely the time where Hunter's value will probably be at its lowest with this minor injury right now for Hunter. So if you could go out there and get Hunter on the low and not pay the premium price for him, this is the time to do it. So that's a few forwards I will look to try to trade for and buy low this week here in week 7 of the fantasy basketball season.